Unspoken Truth About Pests on Ag Day brought to you by Duracade Viptera Trait Stacks, guarding against 16 above and below ground corn pests like mid-season threats of corn rootworm, earworm, and western bean cutworm. Comprehensive control when it matters most.
Last year, Arkansas farmers were on the front lines of intense armyworm infestations. This year, the dry weather is causing problems with grasshoppers and blister beetles. So what other problems are starting to pop up, and how do planting dates play a role? Farm Journal's Sign Morgan digs into the details as she kicks off Unspoken Truth About Pests.
Matt Miles isn't afraid to push the production limits.
We set aside a budget for research so we can take that portion of the money and say, okay, let's go chase something stupid, and maybe a blind hog finds an acorn every now and then.
And this year, Matt, along with his son Lane and agronomist Rob, decided to push the limits with planting dates, planting soybeans on February 17th.
Earliness has been a big deal with us on soybeans to dictate yield, but also it dictates on the amount of pests that we have to deal with during that time.
And as an agronomist, DEDMAN says this area battles pests every year, and planting dates are a major way to fight those pests.
We tend to want to plant as early as we can. We try to outrun them.
Across the state, University of Arkansas entomologist THRASH says one pest problem popping up for farmers is southwestern corn borer.
If you've got non-BT corn and you're planting it non-BT corn after non-BT corn year after year in the same area, yeah, that's where you start running into issues with your southwestern corn borer. You can have 100 completely lose a field to southwestern corn borer when they're really bad.
And soybeans, it's the usual suspects starting to creep in, stink bugs.
Those stink bugs, they're seed feeders. And so that's whenever you need to start being concerned about some of these stink bugs.
Green and brown stink bugs in soybeans are manageable, but it's a newer pest that's marched into Arkansas that has farmers on edge.
We get in the red band stink bugs. We've only had that 1 year. That's absolutely makes you want to puke. I mean, because you can't control them. They come back so fast.
THRASH says red-banded stink bugs are relentless feeders, and studies show they reproduce more quickly than other stink bugs and are hard to control.
Severe, very, very severe yield loss from red-banded stink bug. I mean, if you had them really, really bad years, I guarantee you could get 90% yield loss on some fields if they're really, really bad.
Red-banded stink bugs are a tropical pest that overwinter in southern Louisiana.
But what we're going to have to watch out for is whenever their beans start drying down, they start harvesting beans down south, that's going to be where we may have a push of red-banded stink bugs.
While pest pressure can be a problem here due to weather, not every one of these fields will see insecticide this year.
You try to minimize your risk. The safest place for this crop to be is in that grain bin. And the longer it stays out here, the more exposure we have and the more risk of damage that we have.